Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Cliff here with Fox It Outdoors. We will be doing another update video on the little greenhouse project that we're going. It has now been about a week since the last video update. As you guys can see, I still have this closed. I have not quite opened it yet. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. Looking like it's going to be a nice sunny day. Roughly, I'd say about 80 degrees, just like it was yesterday. A little miserable yesterday, but welcome to the desert. First things first, down here we have our radish bin. We will be doing a live test picking of radishes for you guys today. It's been about a month since I've had these things in here, give or take a few days. Left them out here just so they could get some nice, lovely ambient sunlight. And then today we will be taking a quick update tour of this guy. Opening her up today. Had to refilm this because, well, unfortunately I lost a lot of details on the first one. Just get a quick overview of everything inside. And now we shall step in and begin the grand update and tour. So yet again, I got some more planters. These are 24-inch by, I believe, 6-inch deep or 8-inch deep. I think 6-inch deep planters. Water catchment tray on the bottom. What's going in this one? These two are going to be some strawberries I will be transplanting from the main garden. That will be taken care of over the next couple of weeks. Right down here we have French breakfast radishes. As you can see, they're coming up pretty decently. Not nearly as vibrant as the first batch of radishes, but these are different varieties, so they might grow a little different. I did also try and put some more seed in there just to get them to grow a little better, so I can get a fuller box. Hopefully this one has enough dirt in it. We shall see. Going down to this awesome corner, we have, as you can see, lots of green. I have cannas down in this one. These guys are actually doing really good. I have new growth there. I've got new growth on this one, even though it looks like it's dying. This is new growth here on these guys. As you can see, I got a brand new plant. This one came up last week while we were doing the first video. This guy here looks like he's dying, but these are fairly hardy. These are bulbs. They kind of split off and do whatever they want. Down here in this corner, we have some lovely spinach. I believe this was the Teton spinach. I do have two varieties planted. These guys will be transplanted today. I have pots for these already. I know I did promise it last week that I would be transplanting those when I did that video. I said within the next day or two. I did not. I wanted to let them grow a little bit longer, just so they're hardy for when I transplant them. They don't die in the new pots. I have my cucumber squash over here. As you guys can see, these guys are doing pretty good. Could use a little bit more water over here. They're a little droopy. But these will also be transplanted today. If you guys would like, leave down in the comments below once this is posted or after I'm done with this, if you guys want to actually watch me transplant these videos. I mean, plants, not videos. If you guys actually want to watch me transplant these on video, let me know and I will get that done. If not, no worries. Moving around down here, we have some beans. These are green beans. No, sorry, not green beans. Peas. Peas. I have one little one here. Two of these guys over here. This one's doing pretty good. I mean, he is growing roughly almost a half an inch a day. This thing is getting really big. I did originally plant 8 of those. There was 4 in that one, 4 in this one. I have only gotten, as you can see, 3 out of 8 to grow, so fairly bad success rate on these. I did transplant 2 more in here. I put 2 new seeds, and then I put 1 in the middle so I could try to get at least 6. But again, the variety of these is kind of weird to grow. They look like basically dehydrated, dried out raisins. And they are stubborn to grow, apparently. Moving over here, we're going to start at the top, work our way back down. Have my rosemary, still growing strong over here. That'll be going out in the main garden, out where it normally goes. This is for, I believe, Donald Morris was the one that corrected me last week on this. This is Italian oregano. I did actually have, that guy was actually sitting back here in the corner. I didn't look at it because, well, I was being lazy. Moving down to the next shelf, I've got lettuce in here, but no, that is not lettuce growing right there. I do, however, think this guy here might be the first signs of lettuce. I am not 100% sure. This is the first time I've grown lettuce. And according to the thing on here, this stuff takes roughly 55 days to do anything, or before I can harvest it. So it's been about 2 weeks I've had these in here. They haven't done much. Don't know if they're going to. Got some onion chives over here. Been giving it a little bit of a haircut, which is actually helping quite a bit. My intent is to have this thing completely filled at one point, but in order for this stuff to spread out, you have to trim it. It's like all plants. If you don't trim it, it doesn't want to promote growth. Every now and then I do come over here and I yank out these super dry pieces because, well, they're not good for anything unless you feel like drying them up and chopping them up for dry powdered seasonings. We've got down here, we have my coriander cilantro. Doing really well on this. I'm actually quite pleased. I'm going to have to take these guys out here shortly, put them on the actual sunlight so they can start growing bigger. I did originally have 5 or 6 planted in here. Had one in the center and one down in the corner. Those two did not pop up, but I do have, as you can see, 2 plants there, 2 plants there. I believe that one split off to 2 plants, and then I got one back there. So I do have 7 plants total, which will be getting transplanted at some point. Moving down to the next row, I have oregano. Let's see if you guys can see this from here. I can get this to zoom in on my phone. Got one little oregano plant way back there growing nicely. I did cover it with some extra soil, so he would have a little space to go, because the stuff I had in there before was a little wet, kind of soupy looking, kind of looked like mud. So he'll be growing in there. Right over here I have a red onion, which I procured from work one day last week. Cut the end off, looked like it had some growth in it, so I wrapped it in a paper towel, put it in a Ziploc bag, and added some water, brought it home, and transplanted that same day. That was last Monday. Last Monday. So that's already about a week's worth of growth, and it is actually coming up pretty nicely. Actually, no, I do apologize. It's been about 2 weeks that I've had that in there. And that is the growth I have on there. A little stem about an inch and a quarter. Moving over, we have my Genovese basil. This is what I grew last year in a little pot, and actually turned out really well. This is what it's looking like right now. All of that is basil, every last bit. I have a ton of it. Pardon me, folks, I'm gonna have to sneeze because, nope, maybe not. My apologies. So this will be getting thinned out later. I'll be going another week, give or take. We'll be doing an update video again next week on this. I'll be thinning those out to specifications recommended on the package. And then after that, I will transplant those to individual pots so each plant grows individually. Last year I had a couple of them. Those things grew to about a foot. Each one of those leaves was about 3 to 4 inches long and about 2 inches wide. Looked like a little boat. It got quite a bit out of the 4 plants that I did have in the windows, and almost had more basil than we could use. Going down here, we have just plain old parsley. Not 100% sure. You can see a little bit of green next to the stick off to the right. I'm thinking that might be the first bit of basil popping up, but again, this is another one of those plants that takes quite a long time to do anything. We're looking here at germination of almost 30 days. Those are the planting specs, and that's the regional climate. I am in New Mexico, which is that little brown square that's basically half white and half yellow right above Texas. So that's my planting region, which is a bit of a pain in the butt because we get a lot of heat, a lot of sun, and sometimes things just die. Moving down, we've got spinach. This is the Palco spinach. So we got Palco spinach. That is what it looks like. Leafy green, kind of looks like a spear. I have 1, 2 so far down in there. I did plant about 8 of these in here, 8 or 10 of them. Planted them every couple of inches, just because you never know what you're going to plant. It's always better to overplant and thin later than to underplant and not get anything. Here we have beans. I believe these are my bush beans. That's what they're going to look like. And I have a couple of them in here. I have one right there in the front, as you can see. Nice big one. Might have more in the back, but again, just like the beans in the other 2 little pots, this stuff is very meticulously painful to grow because you never know if it's going to or not. Going back over here, these are my firecrackers. As you can see, this is the only one that has still survived. I think the rest of them are kind of meh. Don't know. Never, like I said last week, I've never grown these before. This is a first, so hopefully I can keep them alive this season. Moving up from that shelf, we've got more peas. And we have a nice little one coming up right there. I believe I planted 8 of those in here, so we shall see what these guys do over the course of the next week or so. Got bugs flying everywhere at me. I apologize for the constant moving of video. I am filming this on a very small tripod, and I do not have a stabilizer. I have chives down in this one. That is what we've got. These usually grow pretty quick. I should have some sort of vegetation growing on top roughly next week or perhaps the week after. These guys actually have a short growth period. It's 15 to 21 days. I just planted them week before last week, so we shall see what they do. Moving up to the next shelf, still have these guys here. These are all the Reaper seeds I got from Phil over at Everything Spicy. As you can see, the stuff is very moist. We got little covers on them. Still nothing. It's been about 3 weeks, almost a month, almost close to a month now, and I still have no growth on there. You can see all the moisture everywhere, and it is nice and warm in those pots. That stuff is not cold. I've got a heat lamp right here. It's actually pretty warm because of its location, but that's a ceramic heat lamp pointed right down on these guys. Still ain't getting nothing growing on them. Over here we have some bunching onions. That's what they look like. I've got 5 sprouting up on here. I'm actually going to leave them in these pots just to see how well they do. I've got 4 back there on that one. As you can see, the little green stickies. That'll increase, and those will kind of look like the other onion chives that I showed you. 2 different varieties. But yeah, we're doing good on these ones. I have down on this side, here's our big planter with the carrots again. These are specified. These are the rainbow carrot mix. Apparently there's supposed to be a variety of multicolored carrots. It's kind of hard to see, maybe, I hope. We'll find out when I put this on. I'll have to watch it when it's up. But I have absolutely no green in this sea of brown. And it is definitely watered. It gets watered on the top once a day, and then this little tube right here is actually a fill tube that fills water up to this little hole right here. You fill it up, water pours out there if you pour it too much. Roughly holds about 3 gallons of water. Keeps it basically watering from the bottom of this system. Haven't gotten anything from there. I've already planted 2 separate batches of carrots in there, and I have got nothing yet. Moving down here, these are the bell peppers. I think doesn't want to focus. Yay, phone. It's about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, about 3 weeks actually in this one, and no green anywhere. I don't know if it's me or the type of soil I have this stuff in, but it seems that those kind of seeds, like bell pepper seeds, that particular form of seed just does not grow for me. Going back to our radishes here in a minute. This will be the last little look of our inside here. Apologize for the shading, lighting, whatever. It's awkward to film outside when you don't have a giant screen behind you blocking the sun. And there's all of that. So here we got our radishes. I've left them out in the sun for a specific reason, just to see if we can't get some better growth on there. And how would you guys like to watch me pull out the first radish to see if we get anything? Let's see what we can get. Here we go. So this is going to be the first radish. And sadly, that is the full radish. It's supposed to be a radish right here, but it looks like we have absolutely nothing. So let's go stick that guy back in there. Looks like it might be another week or 2 before I get radishes. Normally it's only supposed to take about 30 to 40 days to harvest radishes. These things grow really quick. I have the thing over here somewhere, or I might have it inside on my fridge. Yeah, I think I have the packaging inside on my fridge. They're only supposed to take roughly 14 days to germination, and then 30 days, or well, another 14 days after that for growth. Oh, I thought I'd yanked one. I thought I yanked that out. All right, so down here, these are the pots. I did bring these outside with me today. These are going to be the pots that are going to be getting all the spinach transplanted into, and then these are going to be the cucumber squash. I've got 5 plants in the main bucket, in the main original planter. So I got 4 here. 4 of them are going to go in this one. One's going to stay in that one. These are going to be the squash, or sorry, not the squash, the spinach. I'll put 1 in each one of these. I have enough for these, plus I think I'll have 2 or 3 left over when I'm done. If you guys want to, yes, let me know if you want to watch a video of me transplanting those plants. Here we've got this little shrub bush. I legit do not remember the name of it. It's been here almost 3 years now. And this is actually the best this has looked. As you can see, I've got little flowers on this everywhere, which is the first time I've actually had this many flowers on this particular plant. Last year, this thing was up to about here height-wise, but didn't do so well. I don't know why, because it was mainly just because we had transplanted it, but it was still getting used to the dirt. But this is all absolute brand new growth. All of this stuff, I do trim it now every year, because if you don't, it seems that these plants don't do so well. So you do have to actually trim and prune stuff, otherwise you're not going to get promoted growth. And here, as you guys can see, this guy, I did not transplant this in here. I did not put these in here. I like to keep these all separated in their own little areas by themselves. This is a strawberry plant. I have leaves everywhere for it, as you can see. It is actually a fairly established plant. I noticed it at the beginning of this year, and I was really kind of concerned because I legit did not plant that in here. I never put that sucker in here. It got planted somehow by either a bird or maybe one of the neighbor cats. I got weeds in here. I'm almost positive this one's actually not a weed. This will be going to Rolling Homestead over Mark. I'm almost positive this is edible. Doesn't look like one of the non-edible plants. I've seen similar leaf styles in wild edible salads. Or this one can go to Mallory over at Quebec Homestead. If you guys could take a quick peek at this guy. This is what the leaves look like. Almost looks like a fern leaf. But I'm almost positive that one's actually edible. I'm not going to try it because I don't particularly like salad myself. Going over here, update on my plants. Yes, what again? I have cat's been laying in there. As you can see, kind of flattened it. I hate the cats. It's always my neighbor's cat too. This guy finally getting some green on him. It's taking a while, but this is a slow plant. As long as it gets water, it should be good. Peppermint update. As you guys can see, this stuff is growing quite nicely. Stuff in the back's already about 6-8 inches tall. Stuff up front's anywhere between 4 to 6 as well. This is my other main strawberry bin. Well, it was half and half. The front half originally had radishes. That's what I grew last year. This is why I'm growing radishes again this year. But as you can see, my strawberry plants took over. They sent runners out, which are these little guys. These are runners. Comes off the main plant. That actually goes under the leaf right here, see? So it runs off of there, runs off the main plant, and this is how strawberries reseed themselves and spread out even farther. That's what these two pots originally did, and that's why I have, as you can see, these strawberries with massive leaves. I mean, press my finger, and that leaf is, that's a big leaf. That's a 3.5 inch leaf, easy. That's about 2 inches wide, as compared to some of these other leaves. Look at how small those ones are compared to that one. And then I got an even bigger one down here. Still have yet to figure out what these plants are, but as you can see, I mean, I've got, the bugs like them. There's a little pollinator bee there. But they do send out these weird leaves. They're heart-shaped leaves, but they drop these pretty little yellow flowers. I don't know, maybe one of my homesteaders that I follow can help me identify them. This is what they look like when they're little. Just starts off like that. Moving along. I've got these guys. Ooh, hard to see. I know, I apologize. Coming back nicely. Lavender plants. I got more of these. These were almost dead about a month ago. These things looked like they were dead. My solar for internal fan usage for the house. And then we're going over here to what should have been on last week's video before my phone decided to cut out on me halfway through the video. This is my garden center section for what I'm growing in the front. This is going to be kind of similar to like a privacy screen, but I have got cucumbers in here. I have all but 2 of the cucumbers that I planted in this have actually sprouted. This guy right here, kind of can barely see it right there at the tip of my finger. That's a little bit of green. I did have one here and I did have one here. Those actually have not popped up yet. I may reseed for that, but I'm growing cucumbers there. They'll be creeping up this trellis system, which I made myself out of bamboo that I harvested from one of my plants. I have my beans over here. Lots of beans. I did only plant 4 in each one of these, so this is actually, these all grew the way they're supposed to. I wasn't sure how to grow beans. This is the first time growing these also. These will be traveling kind of partially up this section, but at the same time, that's what this is for. I've got this trellis system. I've got a bamboo arch. If it's not green, it's not part of this. This was all stuff I did myself. Added on the bamboo trellis arch itself. I just have it tied on there with some jute twine. Down over here, my other beans. These will be going the exact same way, partially up this and then partially over on this guy. And this is my other cucumber section. Finally I've got some popping up out of here. Again, I planted 9 cucumber seeds in each one of these, and so far I've only got 3 on this one. This particular planter gets the least amount of sun during the day. It gets a little bit in the mornings, as you can kind of see the shade overlay. But I've got this big old tree blocks most of it, especially where the sun is at. And then these don't get sun until the sun is way over here above the giant mobile home / RV. Portable house. So that's why these guys, you'll notice, the leaves on these ones are really big because they get the sun quicker for some reason than the ones on this side. Moving back this way, if I can get this in here, decent video. Got small little patio, which not really important, but I've got more peppermint over here. This is, I believe, spearmint peppermint. You can tell by the leaves. I know somebody's going to correct me on this one, but I'm pretty positive that this is like spearmint style. I've got this guy over here. This is where we started last week's video after my phone decided to die on me. These guys are actually coming up pretty good. I had to move them in the sun because they were getting eaten by bugs. As you can see by that leaf down there. Leaves are supposed to be kind of rounded. Yeah, that's not round. That was eaten by a caterpillar or something that likes to eat these. Which is weird because I thought humans were the only ones that eat peppermint. But that's what we got. This guy's coming out pretty good. He's doing a little better than he was last year. Last year I thought he was going to die. We'll be keeping him out here. Going to my other planter with peppermint. This guy's doing pretty good himself as well. Nothing seems to be eating it. This one is a similar style to what I have in the pot up front. That big luscious green carpet. That's the same style, but a slightly different variety. As you can see, they send out these little runner shoots, and those things will spread out everywhere. By next year, this whole pot, if I'm lucky, will be completely filled in with peppermint. And then I'll have 3 massive peppermint pots. And this over here is what I made my bamboo trellis out of. I've got, as you can see, 3 fairly large 5 foot by 2.5 foot or 4.5 foot by 2.5 foot planters or steel tubs. And this is all my bamboo. This is what I made that trellis out of. I trim these every about 2-3 years. Harvest, well, I should say trim. I should say harvest. I harvest this stuff, and then I break off all the leaves. I break off all the connecting stems, and I just leave the shaft. And then I make whatever I need out of that. We go on just a quick little tour of everything as I move through the yard. These guys are coming up really nice. Don't remember if you guys happened to notice from last year, or sorry, last week, how these little guys, these little stems right here, oops, missed it, were growing. They were about to here last week. I believe they were about 1 foot. Now look at them. Those things are almost chest high now. in just a week. These guys get watered also once a week as well. That is what more or less they're required. As I said, these are a desert plant. These are everywhere down here where I live. We don't get a lot of rain, so this is a desert hardy plant. If you live anywhere in a dry, arid climate, buy these. These will grow with very little water. They're always green, and then you do get the little flowers. I will update you guys during the year on those flowers as well. Moving over here, we have more strawberries. This one is going to be a specific shout out to Mallory over at Quebec Homestead. This is how I have all of mine planted. As you can see, I have quite a bit of space between the rim and the dirt, but anywhere between 2 to 3 inches depending on the pot that I have them in and depending on how established my plant is. As you can see, I've got fairly large leaves on here, which I will say does not contribute to the size of the strawberries you're going to get. I have all of this is going to be strawberry. All of this is going to be strawberries. As you can see, each one of those has about 6, 7 of them on there, which is going to grow. Same with these ones. Everywhere you see one of these little flowers, that's going to be a strawberry. So I've got more there. Smaller pot, less depth, just because if you go too deep on the smaller pots, you're not going to have enough space for the roots. And this one here is my most established / oldest set of strawberry growth. This one was originally transplanted from the garden about 6 years ago, and this thing has been chilling in this pot. As you can see, I need to put him in another pot again. I've actually transferred pots 3 times because these things only last about 2 years in the direct sunlight. But as you can see, I have quite a large amount of growth on these already. I got strawberries everywhere on this thing. Tons of them down there, and again, I have about an inch and a half on this one of depth between that and the plant. Got more of them over here. Got to keep them watered. The more water you give them, the more sunlight they get, the bigger they grow, and the more strawberries you get. You can see I got new growth on this guy right in the center right there. Again, about an inch and a half down on the pot. This guy, I will be transferring him into a different pot here shortly, most likely today. This pot, I don't like this pot. I got these on sale at Walmart last year during the winter closeout, right before they closed the garden.